All right. Hello, GED students. We are here to help you pass the GED. I'm Mr. Von Aw, and we are in the geometry section of the GED textbook. And our objective today is that we are going to learn how to find the area and the perimeter of composite plane figures. All right. This actually helps you a lot in daily life, especially if you're a carpenter. All right, so we have first of all, let me explain what a composite plane figure is. Well, a figure is a shape. A plane usually is like a two-dimensional shape. All right, and a composite, that just means more than one. Right, so these are going to be shapes that are composed of more than one shape. For example, this right here looks like a little house. Well, this is actually made up of two different shapes, right? A rectangle and a triangle. Okay, so that's a composite plane figure. You can have all sorts of these, right? They can include circles, you name it. All right, so we're going to just do this example right here, okay? So this is 14 feet wide by 15 1/4 inches high, and the whole shape is 27 feet. All right, so kind of like a little house, huh? All right, so what we're going to do is they're asking that we find the height of this triangle and the area and perimeter of the entire figure. All right, so what you're going to notice on these composite plane figures, pretty much always there's going to be like one or more dimensions that they don't give you that you're going to have to figure out. All right, so for example, they give you the height of this wall right here, and they give you the height of the entire shape, but they don't give you the height of the triangle. Right? They don't give you that height. Okay, you're gonna have to figure that out. Okay? Anytime you want to find the height or length of something, all you have to do is just subtract 2 of the known lengths. So for example, you know this is 15 1/4. You know this is 27. To find this height right here, of the triangle, you just subtract the 27 minus the 15, right? Because the 15.25 plus that will give you 27. All right, so in order to find the height of that triangle is going to be the total height, which is 27 feet, minus the height of the wall, which is 15.25 feet. All right, and that's going to give us this right there. So we'll just call that H. All right. Okay, so now we just have to do this subtraction here. So 27 minus 15.25. Let's kind of do that over here off to the side. Minus 15.25. All right, now you'll notice that I don't have any numbers right here. And I can't subtract from nothing. So I need to supply some zeros there. All right, so now I'm going to need to borrow from the 7. He's going to turn into a 6. Borrowing 1 from him is actually 10 of this placeholder, right? Because each place value is 10 more or 10 less than the one to the next to it. All right, so that's going to turn into a 10. Okay, so now he's going to loan him 1, so that he is now a 10. So 10 minus 5 is 5. 9 minus 2 is 7. Okay, bring that decimal down. Everything has to be lined up. 6 minus 5 is 1, and 2 minus 1 is 1. So I get a height of, so H equals 11.75, and that's feet. Now let's see if that's reasonable. Okay, I got over 15 here, and that's about 12. So 15 plus 12 is what, 15, 20, 27. So that sounds about right, huh? All right, so always check your answers for reasonableness. All right, so there's our answer for letter A. Let's go to B now. All right, we want to find the area and perimeter of the figure. Okay, so in order to do that, I mean, I don't have a formula that can tell me how to find the area of this shape. I don't have it, okay? But I do have a formula that helps me find the area of a rectangle, all right? So just put lotion on my hands. So this is, I'll just call that area 1, and I'll call this area 2. Okay, if I can find area 1 and then find area 2, add them together, I'll get the total area. Okay, so what is the area of, what is A1 equal? Well, area 1 is just going to be the area of this rectangle, which is length times width. I like to write my formulas down, that way I learn them. Okay, my length, we'll just call it 14. 14 feet. And my width is 15.25. All right. So now I have to do this multiplication. All right, so I'll go ahead and do that. Oops. This was 15.25. So what is this? Okay, 15.25 times 14. So I'm just going to line everything up as if there's no decimal there. I'm just going to multiply. 5 times 4 is 20. Carry my 2. 4 times 2 is 8, plus 2 is 10. 4 times 5 is 20, plus 1 is 21. 4 times 1 is 4, plus 2 is 6. Now I have to put a little placeholder there. 1 times 5 is 5, 1 times 2 is 2, 1 times 5 is 5, and 1 times 1 is 1. Add them all up, and I get 0, 5, 3, 11, 2. Now, where does my decimal go? Well, I have 2 numbers to the right of my decimal, so I got to move it in 2 places to the right, to the left. So I get 213.5. All right, so that is, so area 1 is 213.5. Now that's feet times feet, which is not feet, it's feet squared. All right, or square feet. Okay, so there's area 1. And now I need to find area 2. Okay, let's do a different color here. So area 2, that's a triangle. Do you know the formula for the area of a triangle? Well, the formula, a triangle is just half of a rectangle. So I could find it as just 1/2 base times height. All right, or base times height divided by 2, same thing. All right, so 1/2. Okay, base, what's my base? Well, the base is 14. And my height, well, I found the height, right? My height is 11.75. All right, and those are both in feet. Okay, so help yourself out here. Instead of doing this first, I'm going to go ahead and do this first, because I know what half of 14 is. Half of 14 is 7. So now I can just multiply 7 times 11.75. All right, and let's see what we would get. What is 7 times, these markers are on there good, 11.75 times 7. 7 times 5 is 35. Carry your 3. 7 times 7, 49. plus 3 is 52. 7 times 1 is 7, plus 5 is 12. 7 times 1 is 7, plus 1 is 8. Alright, and that's a little messy. Okay, so I have two numbers to the right of my decimal, so I got to bring it in two places. So it's going to be, what, 82.25? So A2 equals 82.25. All right. So now I need to add these two up, and I'll get my total area. Okay, so let's do that. So area total equals area 1 plus area 2, which is 213.5 plus 82.25. Now you can see why they threw this decimal in here, because they wanted to see if you knew how to work with decimals. All right, so let's make some more room here. And let's add these two guys up. All right, so we got 213. Obviously this would be faster if I had a calculator, but this is good practice. 0.25. The key when you're adding or subtracting decimals is line everything up. All right, so 0 plus 5 is 5. 5 plus 2 is 7. 2 plus 3, or 3 plus 2 is 5. 9, 2. All right, so my area total is 295.75, and that's square feet. All right, that's my total area. So again, all I did is I just found the area of my rectangle, found the area of my triangle, added them up, bam, I got my total area. All right, the last thing I need to do is find the perimeter. I need to find the perimeter of this triangle. All right, so perimeter just means distance around. So that means I'm going to need to know this length, which I already do, this length plus this length, but I don't know the length of those two sides of the triangle. How are we going to do that? Well, we're going to have to use something that we learned here. So let's do this. Okay, we know that this basically is made up of two right triangles, right? So this length here is 14 feet. Let's go ahead and erase this. This length, the base is 14. The height, we said, was 11.75. All right? So if we have a triangle that's basically looks like this, and a right triangle that looks something like this, well, half of 14 is going to be 7, right? Because the whole thing is 14, half's going to be 7. And the height is 11.75. And we need to know what that hypotenuse is. Do you remember how we find the missing side of a triangle, of a right triangle? Pythagorean Theorem. You got it. So Pythagorean Theorem states that a squared plus b squared equals c squared. In other words, you add the sum of the two legs squared should equal the hypotenuse squared. So I'm going to call this A and this B and that's C. So this is 11.75 squared plus 7 squared equals c squared. All right? Now, we're going to have to square this guy right here. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause the video and grab a calculator, because I'm going to need a calculator for this. All right, so I'm back with a calculator. So I'm going to go 11.75 to the second power. Okay, I could do that by hand, but I'm just going to save time. 11.75 squared is about 138. All right, that's pretty close. 138 plus 7 squared is 49 equals c squared. All right, 138 plus 49 is about 187 equals c squared. Now, I don't know if you remember, but how do I get rid of that square there? What's the inverse of a square? Ah, you're right, it's a square root. It's a square root. So I'm going to take the square root of both sides. All right, so the square root of c squared is just going to give me c. So I'm going to take that c and I'm going to put it over here just so I can have it c equals. So square root of c squared is c. Square root of 187. Well, here's where I need help with my calculator again. So what's the square root of 187? I get about 13.7, thereabouts. So 13.7. All right, now that's basically the length of this side. Okay, but be careful here. The question was perimeter. What's my perimeter? All right, so if this is 13.7, this also is 13.7. All right? So what is my total perimeter? What's the distance around this shape? Well, let's go ahead and try. Right up here. So the perimeter equals 15.25 plus, well, we got two of those, right? So another 15.25 plus 14 plus 13.7 plus 13.7. All right, so that's this plus this plus this plus that is the total distance around. So now I just have to add all of these together, and for sake of time, I'm just going to go ahead and do that with a calculator. So I got 15.25 plus 15.25 plus 14 plus 13.7 plus 13.7, and I get a perimeter of 71.9. Now this is feet plus feet plus feet plus feet plus feet. We're just adding feet, right? So the perimeter is going to be in feet. All right, and that seems pretty reasonable. All right, so my perimeter is 71.9. My total area was, well, I erased it, but you can find it. All right, so I hope this video was helpful to you. As always, you can subscribe to my channel. You can always get further notifications when I make new videos. Until then, may God bless you, my friends.